Hi, my name is Gerhard Schwart, and welcome to our Selling Power webinar. Today we talk about revenue resilience, and we came up with that because everybody is struggling during this COVID crisis, and I feel we are sort of in the second phase of the crisis, and we are beginning the recovery. And during the recovery, we need to look at the basics, which is how are we doing with the digital sales and marketing transformation opportunities in this uncertain time? And that's why we ask Professor Joël Lebon, Professor of Sales and Marketing at Johns Hopkins University, to join us. And he prepared a wonderful presentation. So take it away, Joël.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gerhard, and thank you, Mark, for making this opportunity live. And even if it's digital, because everything is digital now, but we're still alive, right? And resiliency and being resilient is even more important than ever. Very important topic of interest for Gerhard as well. So the agenda is pretty straightforward, just sharing some general thoughts and research, not too many numbers, but you know, I like numbers. So I'm going to share some numbers, some research around the new normal in the area of marketing and sales and the context of marketing and sales, how we should approach that. And then from this, just reflecting on three trends, which in fact are opportunities, which I think are interesting to think about and to go after. Should we be prepared to do so? Which is the whole point of discussing what is the right preparation to accomplish our new goals, maybe in the new normal world. And for so three trends, three opportunities, and between each of those, I'm going to open it to Gerhard, who's going to lead a discussion. And that will be, let's share your perspective, your approach, and what do you do, so we can all learn from each other. So a couple of things about the marketing and sales context. And I like to say that although my title is being a marketing professor, I'm also a sales professor. I teach sales. In fact, I teach a sales program right now to 200 students, all remote, virtual. And we do everything on Salesforce.com, and they are in Asia, they are in Europe, they are in the US, 3 different classes, and we just do it because we have to do it this way, which means that yes, the environment is changing. It's also very complex for them, and they are graduate students, they are MBA students, they have a job. And they have things to accomplish, and we just went through COVID-19 as a university, just like every other university, and also as a lot of companies, their business just went digital or remote, let's say. So the environment is complex, changing, and sometimes very suddenly. The problem usually we have to justify marketing and sales, and this is why I like to say I'm also a sales professor. I teach sales because sales in the end matters a lot. This is where the revenue actually is being created and generated to come back to the company, hopefully with a good marketing strategy to generate the conversation at first. But in the end, from a marketing perspective, marketing function perspective, it's difficult to measure the return on investment. I mean, what do we put and what do we get from what do we put? So we always have to justify the function. It's why new functions have been created, like around chief revenue officer functions to help align marketing and sales and generate more revenue aligned. But there are still 3 critical questions to ask and to answer in this area. Which markets to cover? Even more today, which markets should we cover, should we serve? Which customers in those markets to serve and to approach, and how actually now, for example, especially today when they are remote. And but at the same time, because everyone is doing that, which competitors are we up against? And this is critical because if you don't know your competition, you don't know your weaknesses. And it's very important to understand your weaknesses and to understand the kind of competition you are up against, especially if this kind of competition is disrupting your industry. And that's a very important question in marketing and sales as well. So marketing, sales, and resiliency, well, what does that mean? Usually less markets, less customers, or not. For Zoom, for example, or not, because of the situation where a company like Zoom can expand their reach. I don't know if you saw the market capitalization of Zoom recently, which went way above the airline companies. Isn't that interesting? Zoom can make ideas travel more quickly now and bring people together. Very interesting. So less markets, less customers in a lot of industries, or not, depending on where you are. We may become less efficient at accomplishing what we were doing because it's not the same process anymore, or not if we are digital, or less effective. We don't get the outcome that we want, that we used to have. And then sadly, less profitable. And we saw in the economy the impact of being less profitable for a number of industries and companies. Yet, what is the purpose of marketing and sales? The purpose of marketing and sales is really to increase incoming cash flow. That's the point. But also to accelerate incoming cash flow and to be prepared to actually reduce for the company cash flow volatility and vulnerability, especially for this kind of situation. So we can protect the company and the company growth and the shareholder. So this is the purpose of marketing. And I like to see that this way. In fact, the ultimate purpose of resilient marketing and sales is to create assets that may not be in the book, the accounting books, but they are there and help actually increase the value of the company. So where are those assets? Well, they are in the market. This is why we call them market-based assets. So we create market-based assets, we develop market-based assets, and we manage market-based assets, which means it's very important to understand what's going on in the market and with the customers, even if we have less markets and less customers as of today. So what are market-based assets? And this is coming from research. In the end, it comes down to two things: customer relationships and partner relationships. So we accomplish what we do in marketing and sales because we have a relationship with customers who are willing to give you their business. And because also we accomplish things with our partners. And it's very important to think about the kind of relationship we can build, maintain, and sustain to create those market-based assets, which means that we're going to have some kind of market-based performance outcome from that: faster market penetration, faster trial of our product, faster referrals, faster adoption, maybe sell for more, price premium, things like that. Loyalty retention. Loyalty retention today is critical, but from which customers? And in the end, this is impacting shareholder value and the value and the growth of the company in terms of what I just mentioned before: accelerating cash flow, enhancing cash flow, and reducing volatility and variability of the cash flow to increase the company value. When we approach that from a marketing and sales perspective, thinking about being resilient and questioning the organization and how we structure the organization to accomplish that strategy, usually there are a couple of things we need to pay attention to. The problem is it's like tackling an elephant from different perspectives. And then we're going to ask, so is it about technology? Or is it about the people? Is it about the structure? Is it about the process, the skill set, and what skill set? Or is it about the mindset? And Gerhard can tell you a lot about the importance of the mindset to approach business, but also yourself, so you can approach business and become resilient. Interestingly, today we have to think through, what could be a new mindset we should have? And think through it maybe differently. What could be the new skill set we should have? What can be the new tech set, the technology set that we have at the individual level? For what kind of new people, new structure, new process? Companies went remote overnight in March. So the new process, new structure to manage the people, the company with new technology. And we can put that this way. This is my way to combine this and think about it at the same time from an organizational level and an individual level. where, as you know, from the organizational level, if you're interested in strategy, this is what you do. You align the people, the structure, the process, and the technology. Yet, because this is about the people that you are making, working together, it's about the mindset, the skill set, and the tech set. When you think about marketing and sales before and now, let's say before 2015, I call that marketing and sales 2.0, we had some good understanding somehow of the kind of people we need to have to accomplish what we want to do, the kind of structure that was working, the kind of process, not much technology. I mean, still, but technology was not doing exactly the same thing until recently, I would say. But also we had some understanding of the kind of mindset we needed to have to approach the market, the business. And now a lot of people in this country and abroad are thinking, what's the right mindset to be a leader today, remotely? Because there's a lot of things also happening for your employees and your customers, what the right skill set and the right tech set. And I think today what's happening is this. So if you see the arrow here, we are going from this to this. The technology is really helping us driving this, which could be a good thing because you can ask Alexa or, hey, Google, what is it that you have to do, and let your car drives you or drives you crazy. Because the technology and AI can help you do a lot of things, but at the same time, we have to think about to what extent we should leave it to technology. So the first trend that is there, which is very interesting and very important to go after is, okay, how do I engage the customer? How do I keep engage the customer? And engaging the customer is becoming a critical challenge, especially today. Well, I see that as an opportunity. And in marketing, a very important concept is segmentation. And today we talk more about personalization. Well, there's no way you can personalize your value proposition if you don't segment at first. But today it's not about segmentation anymore. It's about hyper segmentation. So the opportunity is hyper segment, hyper segment, hyper segment to find the value seekers, the kind of customers who are still looking for value, because there's a lot of customers who might take advantage of the free services that you provide today because of the situation to keep them. But some customers are also willing to pay for your service. The question is, how do we find them? And there are different types of customers. I call them value seekers, value dealers, or value killers. And recently, I actually did a study for a company where we analyzed their segments in the database, which means you need to have a database and you need to have data and analytics about your customer to do so. And it's a service provider. And basically what you have here, the segmentation variable, they were trying to understand what matters for the customers in regard to the kind of service they provide. And it was mainly being on time, providing quality results, solving their issues, providing expertise, caring for the customers. Very important today, listening to the customers, cooperating with the customer, providing knowledge, foresee their problems and the price. But when we analyze in the database all the customers, how they were assessing those different criteria, this is the overall assessment. We noticed that some of them were assessing that way below other customers. If this is the average in green, it's way below. Interestingly, they were willing to pay more as well, while some others were just more average, but they wanted to pay less. And some other, they were really raising the red flag. They wanted everything kind of less, and they wanted to pay less. Well, for you, managing your resource, that is a problem, because how you can serve those kind of customers at the expense of those that actually maybe deserve better. And we found three types of segments. The value dealer, I win, you lose. Customers with high expectations for a low price. The value seeker, I win, you win. Customers with high expectations for the right price, which is a very nice discussion to have about the value you provide. But also the value killer, I lose, you lose. The customers with low expectations for a low price. And this is important. In fact, I did recently another study with a logistic company during COVID-19. And it's a logistic company. It's an international logistics company. What they do is they deliver stuff, right? So they deliver goods. And we find also three segments, and we call them differently. The minimizer, they want to minimize everything. The maximizer, they want to get everything for less. and the optimizer. They want the right balance. But it's very important to find who are the minimizer, the maximizer, or the optimizer in your database. So it's important to have data and information about the customers. This is why I want to open it to Gerhard, to have your perspective, and also to Mark, to understand from your perspective, what does that mean today? To hyper segment, to find the right customers in the world. But because they are hard to find in the world, let's find them in your marketing database at first.
Well, I totally agree, and I'm certainly interested also in hearing Mark's perspective. What I find very useful is to when you engage with customers, first marketing needs to do the ferreting out, needs to identify the right opportunities for the sales force. But once salespeople show up, I think it's important to find out what is the state of mind that the customer finds himself or herself in. What is the personal situation? So you want to spend more time showing that you care, conveying a message that you want to bring value, that you are understanding of their situation, and you ask much better questions than before. So to understand the economic challenges that the company is facing, the psychological challenges that the people and their customers are facing, and find the right matrix where the opportunities lie. And sometimes you have to spend more time on the personal than on the economics or on the business issues. Mark, what is your experience?
Yeah, Gerhard, I think what you hit on there is really important. I think my takeaway from Lebon, Joel's first segment here is more about just how in these kind of situations that we're dealing with, like COVID, everything you do has to be that much more efficient and effective. And we're seeing that at N3. We have, lots of our clients and even prospects, companies that have maybe considered working with us but hadn't made the jump yet, coming to us and asking us to help them train their outside sales team in different things that are typically associated with an inside sales team or a general marketing type approach, because it's different now. And the difference wouldn't have been a concern if they then didn't become so noticeable to those companies, how that the segmentation is not where it needs to be. All of this stuff gets to be highlighted in these situations. So we've been jumping in with some of our clients, some of the largest companies in the world, like Microsoft, Cisco, and IBM, helping them hyper segmentate as one example, and just leverage some of those skills that we need in a virtual world.
So maybe we move to the next one. I want to say something on this. When we've been working with this company, what they've been doing on the three types of customers, they've been developing a loyalty program geared toward those three types of customers. And they were more confident by telling the value killers and the value dealers, you know what, you're going to get just this amount of resource from us. Not telling them because they were value killers or value dealers, but at least they knew that they had to serve the value, seekers better, and they felt better about this because the other type of customers, they were demanding a lot of resource without providing a lot of return on their resource, which is not right. And from a marketing standpoint, this is not how you accelerate and increase the incoming cash flow. So they build a loyalty program to actually serve those customers differently. And this is something very important. So laser fine-tuned loyalty programs. The second trend is executing a hyper-segmented digital sales strategy is becoming a critical challenge. And we've been talking about social media selling or social selling since a couple of years already, since the very famous Gartner or CB study, 2012, 57% of the customer customers do 57% of the buying process without meeting a salesperson. Yeah, it's even worse today. But now it's something else, especially at the organization level. And I would love to hear Mark's perspective on that, because you talk about inside sales already, and I think there's a lot of things to think about, how to equip Salesforce with more digital sales strategy for more specialized sales. So I've been working with this company. It's a large software company. And I don't know about you, but they implemented LinkedIn Navigator globally. Over 11,000 licenses in 52 countries. And to serve their salespeople and help their salespeople serve their customers better. But they wanted to understand the extent to which LinkedIn Navigator, above and beyond the LinkedIn SSI score. So the LinkedIn SSI score is LinkedIn metric to tell you if you are using LinkedIn right. And it's based on 4 things: establish your professional brand, find the right people, engage with insight, and build relationship. Each of them out of 25, the 4 of them out of 100, and you have an index out of 100. Usually if you're in sales, it's good to be over 70 out of 100, which means that you have a professional brand, you are perceived as a subject matter expert, very important in B2B sales, and also you find the right people and you engage them. And we wanted to understand the impact of that on volume, deal size, speed to close, and conversion index. What we find in general business for small companies is that what was very important, even for small customers, it was their professional brand, but also building relationship. But when we did the study for the key account managers, and there were a lot, what was very important is for them to be able to find the right people in the decision center, still find the right people, because the decision center is getting bigger and bigger and more collegial, where people need to be together. Now, the decision center is remote now, right? So very important to find the right people, but also to provide them with insights. Even if they are very knowledgeable, provide them with insights to keep engaging the decision center, which was a little bit counterintuitive in terms of results.
A quick question. Somebody is asking, B2B enterprise and SMB customers expectations have changed, I believe, due to how they are marketed to as individuals. What lessons can B2B marketers apply from the B2C world? It's a good question, because I think we all get educated with every marketing message that we receive on our laptops and iPhones, and that sort of shifts the expectations. And I would agree with that question of that we can all learn from B2C. What's your opinion?
The B2C world changed in the mid 90s, of course, with the internet and the e-commerce. And I think now this is impacting B2B the way it impacted B2C. And we can learn a lot from the B2C world. And in fact, there are 2 things the B2C marketing world is doing well: branding, and segmenting, right? Because yeah, you don't see your customers, but you have to attract them to you through your brand and through actually segmentation. This is why today it's very important, the segmentation, to make sure that overall, if you have a customer portfolio of over 1,000 very important customers, they are not all made equal. So you still have to segment, but the brand is shifting to the person now. It's in the B2B world. And it's very important, especially from this research, establish your professional brand, where the brand is shifting to the salesperson to build what I call actually their own brand equity, the additional value that they bring to the table above and beyond their job description. It's their brand equity. And they have to become subject matter experts. So people are willing to connect with them and understand how they can serve them. So 2 things from the B2C world is really changing the B2B world. And this is why we need more marketing in B2B. And marketing is too important to be left to marketers only, just like sales, which is too important to be left to salespeople only. This is why salespeople in the B2B world need to be more marketers. And in fact, I call that mark selling. Because to sell, you have to leave your mark. which is, by the way, the purpose of a brand. So, and the tools are here. The tools are here at the fingertip of actually the B2B sellers. In fact, account-based marketing, which is marketing at the level of the account, is possible today thanks to Discover.org, for example, and thanks to a lot of tools where you can find those people in the decision center and connect with them just like regular customers you won't see, but connect with on your B2B website. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on the money here. I have a couple things to add. I think around branding, it's important to remember, how important that is. And it's a personal and corporate brand that a sales rep has to think about every day now, a little different. The second thing is segmentation. I mean, for years and years, I've been working with clients that are B2B focused, and really they struggle to want to invest the time and money necessary to really segment their market. Well, that's changing now because they're being forced to. So I think your branding and segmentation is really, really key. One more thing I'll add, and this we do when we're training inside sales reps, virtual sales reps, and particularly bringing them from an outside mindset to an inside mindset. We have to remember, especially as we've started with this pandemic, to be reminded that every reach out that you have to a prospect, you're actually reaching out to them in their home. And their mindset is in an entirely different spot. At least mine is. I don't have the data and the research just yet on this, but when I'm home, I have a different mindset than I do when I'm working or when I'm traveling for work. And you just have to respect that, understand you are really intruding into someone's home. Now, we all know our homes have become our workplaces, so it's really gone to 24/7 when it comes down to thinking about work and engaging in work. But as a sales rep, particularly early in the relationship, we have to be very cognizant that we are doing that. And I think when you do, everything gets better from there. The relationship can be built. We're doing a lot of work around virtual trusted selling at this point, trusted relationship. I've done a lot of work with that personally with Charlie Green, who wrote The Trusted Advisor, and also trust-based selling. Someone who's a close friend, and I was actually the first individual that joined him in his organization many years ago to really present some of those ideas to the world. He's been doing it now for 20 years. So there's ways to do it, but the mindset has to change.
Yeah, I really like your response on that. It made me think again about this question B2C, where in fact in B2C you reach people at home through the TV, right? And,
yes.
And this is why also a lot of companies move from just advertising to infomercial. Now we can bring that back to the salesperson.
Yes.
Who's gonna have at the screen won't be the TV, it will be the computer, but that's the same mindset and the same context.
I want to add one more thought because I think it's moving not just from B2C to B2B, but it's going to come around full circle, and it's going to become more H to H, human to human. And yet we need to be mindful that salespeople, whether it's B2B or B2C, they're really brand ambassadors. So my follow-up question to Mark would be, you're representing different companies and you deliver an outsourced Salesforce solution. How do you how do you prepare people for that elevated brand experience?
Yeah. So Gerhard, that's really one of the key recipes to what we do at N3. It's the process of going in there as a partner. Even though we're outsourced resources, we go in, as a partner with the organization, a partner with the leadership team, and a partner with every segment of the company that we work with to help close deals for those organizations. And by the way, we do that all from the outside, looking like we are, a regular employee of any of the companies we work with. So it's the same mindset. It's about working hard on improving that brand for our clients every day and protecting that brand. It's about working as a team within that organization, even though we get our W-2s and paychecks may have a different name on it. It's not. It's a very much a hip-to-hip model. And the third thing is just making sure that we do understand, to your point, that it is all about H to H. It's all about building those relationships, sharing information, building expertise as we go along with our clients' business, and representing their client, their products as best we can as a company.
So the last trend is, leveraging technology to save relationships, right? How about this? Leveraging maybe technology is going to save relationship. Actually, it's been doing that for a lot of people around the globe. It's becoming a critical challenge. Streamline the marketing and sales production line. I see marketing and sales as a production line where you manufacture efficiency and effectiveness by aligning marketing and sales well. So you manufacture efficiency and effectiveness. So how do you streamline the marketing and sales production line? For one purpose, which is even more important today, for customer success. Because this is what matters the most for you to build market-based assets. So it's the success of your customers. That was the sales stack in 2007, a couple of software we were using in organizations. Of course, Salesforce was there, Oracle and Microsoft, and of course, very classical Microsoft software, PowerPoint to manage content, right? PowerPoint, and Excel, all of that, DocuSign, right? 2019, a couple of more, around 600. Talked to someone yesterday who is very knowledgeable about this field. They said, so we passed, of course, 700, and without counting CRM related software. So there's a lot of choice, but it also says that technology can help because they are here for a reason. Well, this is the past where, we were going to market with outside sales, road warriors, and having customers, building relationship salespeople, building relationship with the customers, and inside sales more perceived as telemarketers and remote sales to generate maybe leads only, and less also key account managers or specialized advisor. This changed. In March, everyone went inside sales. So today, this is it, right? And which means it's interesting. You have to ask yourself, what's the point of an outside sales organization with the outside sales structure, process, and strategy, where maybe sometimes the customers, even them, don't even want to meet the salespeople. So inside sales is the new normal, but also supported by key account managers and specialized advisor. And just as a reminder, the big study we conducted with this software company, there was a lot of key account managers out of those respondents. So
Joel,
yes.
if I can interject a point, can you go back a slide there? So one of the things, again, that's great, we can even start there. I mean, one of the things we've seen at N3 is it's kind of all it's been squished together in a lot of ways here, other than the inversion that you showed. Yeah. Because when it comes down to what we have been building for the last 15 years at N3 is an inside sales motion that are extremely well-trained individuals. So they're closer to those specialized key account manager type mindset. And we do it through lots of great millennials who dive into this type of work and really, that love technology. Most of our clients are SaaS or technology based. So they dive in and they understand the product capabilities much better than most of the outside sales reps, even ones that have maybe been doing it with the same company for 10 years straight. So I think that's another great advantage that we have. The typical old world kind of outside sales rep, gets by on a lot of relationships. And they focus a lot of their energy on relationships. And we all know how important that is. But I think the world is evolving. I think it ties back to the B2B versus B2C mindset. People want to buy very efficiently. They want to buy with, on their own terms. We all have the data that we need out there to compare one product to the next and to just really understand the products on our own time, late at night on a website or on a YouTube video for that matter. So I think that's another thing that's changing. That's another thing that companies are feeling during this pandemic. And the good news is, it's more efficient in so many ways and less costly to do all the things you're describing around marketing and potentially building up inside sales teams, whether it be with a partner like us or just building them internally. All of that, I think, is going to be ways for us to more reliably sell what we need to sell in individual companies, at the same time doing it a little more with a little lower cost of sales as well.
Right. Yeah, I really like your perspective on that. And if I may, let me also ask you this. Inside sales is also as good as the inside sales leaders.
Yes.
And what's very important, for inside sales is, the thrill, the atmosphere on the floor, to be together and make those calls and go. The floor gone. It's gone, right? There's no floor. Yet the leadership, for the mood, the atmosphere, the driver of the mindset is gone remote. So can you talk a little bit about, how do you see frontline sales managers' new leadership role, where they are not with their inside salespeople anymore, yet the inside salespeople maybe need them more than ever? And we saw, there's a lot of, mental health issue related to feeling lonely. I mean, a salesperson is a lonely person, right?
Yes,
it's a lonely. Yes. This is why it's important to have a sales process. I mean, you don't have a sales process, you're a salesperson, you don't know what to do. You have a sales process, you know where you are in your face. Even if you don't have many customers, you just go by your sales process. So at least you know what to do. You don't have a sales process, you are a lonely salesperson, it is not nice. Now, inside sales, with remote leadership. Can you talk about that? Because this is a new challenge.
Yeah, no, Joel, that's another great point. And it's interesting. We've all had the data now over the last few months to look at it. And so again, I'll share a little bit of an N3 perspective. We went from a completely demand center based approach, just as you described, throughout the world with 18 or 19 demand centers throughout every continent, on the planet, to within 36 hours, bringing everyone to a virtual sales environment. And it was a very, for me, probably more than some of my other senior leaders of the company, I was really worried about those 36 hours because at the end of the day, we're relying on our technology, and that's not an area that I've dove deeply into within the company. Well, 36 hours, credible transition, really not even a hiccup. So we're very proud of our technology. And our technology, to answer your question, is a number of proprietary technologies that we built over the years. We don't charge our customers for that, but it makes us more efficient and effective. And then every marketing and sales stack on the planet, we're evaluating every single minute of the day. The interesting thing there, our CTO is really our chief operating officer. And that just shows how important it is to us. He's the only one capable of really keeping that knowledge and awareness at every minute. So I'll share one last perspective and then a little bit of the final point of view. I've always been a virtual, I shouldn't say always, last 10 to 12 years of my career, I've been much more virtual in what I've done. And I've run large groups, but I've done it from a home office. And I love it. Not as much now. I don't love it as much now, being stuck in it 24/7. But I used to love it when I would end up traveling 3 or 4 days a week and spending a day and a half or so in the office. I felt like I could schedule my meetings when they need to happen. And so I come with that background and point of view. that being said, and three, we've been all about the teams, the floors, as you put it, the high fives after closing a deal, and the hugs and everything else that aren't able to do. Simple equation is technology has saved the day again. There are incredible products like Slack and Microsoft Teams and Zoom and WebEx. I mean, all these things allow us to leverage that virtual high five in the best ways that we can. And so far, our productivity it jumped a little higher right after that 36-hour mark, and it stayed there. Now, I don't know if that means it could always stay there, or if there are other dynamics going on. And we've got big decisions to make when our demand centers can be reopened. Do we need as many? Do we need office space throughout the world? Do we need to, in the locations where we are, which are very high rent type individual places? So we have those decisions to make, but the beautiful thing is technology has saved the day again.
This is just a summary of what we talk about. Engaging the customer is a challenge, so hyper-segmentation is important. And hyper-segmenting as well the digital sales strategy with digital spiritual sales is something interesting to explore because the tools are there. And leveraging technology you just mentioned can save actually the relationship even within the company, and yes. Between the leaders and the salespeople. The problem we have usually with technology, what I notice is, well, if we push it, there's disruption behind technology. So we sometimes we are, we deny. It's, denial of marketing and sales technology disruption, fear, of course, right? Or the lack of understanding of the new marketing and sales technology. This is a problem, lack of executive ownership of, what they should do and why we should do that in the organization. And then to facilitate the culture, I'll tell you what, my students are well trained on technology. I have a sales technology stack that they use. We do conversational intelligence, we do video, we have a platform, and they are well trained. So it's important when they actually find their dream job that they can use their dream technology too. And lack of understanding of the new normal of what makes marketing and sales success. So if you remember this, where we say that the technology can drive a lot of this, in fact, what I did is, if you have here, you remember the people, the structure, the process that we had over there, we can spot in each category the evolution of sales from sales 2.0, where it was mainly Salesforce automation and CRM, to now sales 3.0. And I think Gerhard knows a lot about sales 3.0. He brought a lot to the world around sales 3.0. And you have a lot of what I call now the technology-guided sales organization and technology-guided salespeople, where technology can help at the process to engage customer better, for sales engagement. At the structure level, for example, around account-based marketing, we changed the way we approach the customer. How about sales enablement as a new way to bring together training, technology, content, salespeople, operation to enable the sales organization. And at the people level, there's a lot of change with AI, machine learning, gamification. I used to use actually Oopla, in my previous role to recognize the people that were doing well with this gong, when we were closing deals. So yeah, it's important. So all of this somehow, even if you look at the organization from a overall framework, it's very accurate in terms of what we can do. So this is why I agree that technology might also be helpful, but we need to know how to navigate that, right? To accomplish that. So let's share again, maybe closing remarks. I would love to hear from those who are with us, what they do and how they approach that, or, also from you, Mark, because I learned a lot from what you say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. We have only 2 minutes left, but I wanted to make an observation, which is that what I'm learning is that we need to get to the right customer faster, with the right mindset, the right message, the best understanding on how to solve their problem, with the highest value offer and the lowest risk, the greatest chances for getting acceptance by all the stakeholders in the company. And that's the reason why we need better digital technology. That's why we need more competent help. And what my theory, my latest theory is that the microchip really changed everything because every year microchip has a smaller footprint. It does the same work faster with more precision and at a higher volume at a lower cost. So the philosophy of microchip is really the core philosophy of every business. Would you agree, Joel?
Yeah, it's and it's coming from sand, you know, so from the beach, right?
It comes from the beach, yeah. And there are infinite grains of sand and there are infinite possibilities, but we need more precision in our marketing. So we need to have two things. One is we need to get better technology, but second, we need to humanize and personalize the sales effort where every salesperson, whether it's inside or outside, they're brand ambassadors and they're value creators. Mark,
Yeah.
what's your take on that?
Yeah, and that's what, you know, has us excited every day, you know, within three. We build those organizations. We, you know, we believe that there's lots that can be done with an inside or virtual sales reps, as we, who knows, we may be all calling them soon. So, you know, that people process technology mixture that we bring to the equation is how we are so capable of reliably delivering revenue. I mean, lots of our clients, when they start with us, they look at it and they're used to sales teams making a number or missing a number. And our kind of response is always, you know, we don't live, we don't grow unless we always make a number. We have very easy contractual terms that allow companies, if we weren't making it, to try something else. Probably a lot easier than even getting rid of a sales leader or you know, sales manager. So having that capability just really puts us in a great position to, you know, to kind of help organizations in this new world that we're in. So we're excited to keep doing it. Joel,
How can people get in touch with you?
Yep. So we can, what we'll do is we'll reach out, Gerhard, if you can send an email with my contact information
I will.
to the full group, that would be great, and an introduction. But so happy to have you as a part of this today, Gerhard, and Joel. Incredible as always. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. It was great to discuss all of this with you. Thank you.